So the Pikmin 4 demo just came out and I feel like a kid in a candy store again. For literal years now, I dreamt of the moment I finally got to lay my hands on Pikmin 4. And I know it's just a demo, but come on. As a Pikmin fan, you know we've all been starved as a community. But now, it's time to finally eat. Nintendo gave us absolutely nothing for 7 years straight, and in the span of 3 years we got Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Pikmin Bloom, Pikmin 1 and 2 Remastered, and very soon, Pikmin 4. We went from eating crumbs to feasting on a 5-course meal. But to be honest, I'm scared. Now that we finally have Pikmin 4 in the palm of our hands, I can't help but worry that it won't be as good as I imagined, and I know some of you guys have the same worries too. I'm sure you know the feeling of looking forward to something huge, like an upcoming birthday party. It's those ones when you're so excited you literally can't sleep the night before, but when the time arrives, this huge birthday party that you had planned out perfectly didn't go as you imagined. You then realize that the idea of having this huge birthday and the wait leading up to the event was better than the party itself. That's how I kind of feel with Pikmin 4. I've had so many ideas, so many theories in my own headcanon, and it's set the expectations through the roof for this game. A part of me doesn't want Pikmin 4 to release because I've gotten so used to the feeling of waiting and anticipating of what could be. Now, in no way am I saying I don't want to play Pikmin 4. I'm gonna be there day one, and I'm gonna play the absolute living hell out of that game. I just fear that it won't be as good as I hoped. This game needs to do well, because if it doesn't even outperform Pikmin 3 Deluxe in sales, which isn't much compared to other Switch games, this may be the last Pikmin game. But after playing the demo 12 times over, I'm not nearly as worried as I was. So far, the game is phenomenal, and this is just a glimpse of what to expect when the game launches. But I learned that if something's too good to be true, it probably is. I don't want to come across as a pessimistic person, but I think it's healthy to look at both sides of anything. If you choose to only look at the goods, you'll fool yourself into believing that something's better than it actually is. However, if you focus only on the bads, you'll never be able to enjoy things in life. Instead, we're going to look at both sides of the spectrum to try and achieve a more rational view of Pikmin 4. So for the next part of this video, we're going to take a brief look at the goods and bads of the Pikmin 4 demo. So let me start off by saying this game looks gorgeous. Now I know it's no God of War Ragnarok, but for a Nintendo game on the Switch, it looks outstanding. Put this next to any modern day Pokemon game and you'll see a distinct difference in quality. The battle music hits home for me, and the little jingles when starting off a day or heading into a cave are nostalgic and calming. And the sound effects are impeccable. We now have a hub world and I love it. This is the first Pikmin game to do this, and I'm surprised not as many people are talking about it. It's a great place to get things done between the days without having the stress of a day timer. You can grow some Pikmin, purchase upgrades, and much more. The area has a very relaxing vibe to it, and it's a great place to wind down after having a stressful in-game day. Something Pokemon Legends Arceus did very well was having a good hub world. In Jubilife Village, as we progress through the story, we see structures get built, more people show up, and more Pokemon around the place. I think this Pikmin 4 world should act the same. The more we progress, the more lively our hub location gets. We already see more castaways gather around as we rescue them, but I want to see more treasures, hidden exclusive areas, and a real sense of community here. A great quality of life change is being able to move your base to another part of the map midday. I can't express how much I use this feature and how essential it is to the fast-paced gameplay of Pikmin 4. Especially now that the maps are much bigger, Nintendo made the right choice by having multiple landing locations. The game controls very well. It took a little bit of time getting used to, but the gameplay feels natural after some time. All I had to do was turn up the camera sensitivity and I was set. However, in terms of changing the controls, that's about all you can do. We'll talk more about that later. Nintendo did give us the option to bind shortcuts to our D-pad. I'm not going to go over everything you can do, but this could make for a much more efficient style of gameplay if the players utilize this feature properly. The UI is wonderful. The health bars, Pikmin counts, and day timer all have a fresh modern design. There's so many features we can use on our tablet, and it's all extremely easy to navigate around. I'm assuming as we go through the game we'll unlock more apps and features on our tablet, but it's nice to see we seemingly get most of them from the get-go. Now if I were to talk about everything that made this game great, I'd be here for hours. So I'm going to finish off with a slightly controversial one. I think only being able to have 3 Pikmin types on the field at once is a great change. Now, players will have to think a lot more about their strategy for the day. Yes, it does make certain tasks slightly more tedious, and I know the demo really only gave us 4 Pikmin types, but this mechanic alone highlights the strategic planning side of Pikmin that's been missing from the past few games. I know you were all expecting this, but the game is way too easy. Even though I'm just playing the first level in the demo, the enemies seem to have very little health. I can't remember a Pikmin game where you get to bully a ball board with a singular Pikmin. In my playthrough, I killed Ochi like 4 times, and whenever he dies, I could just walk back to the ship and revive him. So if Nintendo gives me the ability to mindlessly charge in without any consequences, obviously I'm gonna abuse the mechanic. I do understand they made this change to make the game more friendly to newcomers and children. I just hope Nintendo gives us some harder caves or difficulty options. Another option Nintendo doesn't want to give us is the ability to customize the controls. This isn't just a Pikmin 4 issue, but I'm still gonna address it. The year is 2020 and we can't remap our controller. PC has it, PlayStation has it, and even Xbox has it, but for some reason Nintendo feels the need to give us their controls and force us to use it. Another bad habit Nintendo has is dragging along their tutorials. I don't know if it's a skill issue, but the tutorial took me 30 minutes to complete, and after that I get a call from Shepard and Colin every 5 seconds telling me something I already know. Fortunately, I've played through worse tutorials. But this shouldn't be the standard. I'm sure this issue will be changed in the full game, but for the demo, the caves were kind of underwhelming. Aside from the interesting puzzles, each cave only had 2 sublevels, very little enemies, and no bosses. Now I know this is just for the demo because in the first trailer, when we're fighting the Disco Longlegs, the cave's aesthetics looks very similar to the Industrial Maze. And no way every single cave in the first location only has 2 sublevels and no bosses. So even though this will probably get fixed in the main game, I'm still gonna point it out. Wanna hear a joke? Co-op in Pikmin 4. I tried this with my friend and he almost smashed his head into the wall out of boredom. This is the equivalent of giving your little brother an unplugged remote and convincing him he's playing the game. The co-op mode in Pikmin 4 is pathetic. Pikmin 3 had it great, and I know there's only one captain in this game, but player 2 should have been able to play as Ochi. All they had to do was just copy the co-op from the last game and they were set. Denduri battles are cool, but they feel like a downgraded version of Bingo Battle. Speaking of Denduri battles, I hate how it forces me to play in split screen, even when it's single player. I wish they gave us the option to toggle it on and off. And in my opinion, the greatest flaw in this game is that there's no online multiplayer. I don't know if they plan on releasing an update where players can Denduri battle each other, but I believe it's needed. I have over 2,000 hours on Smash Ultimate and 99% of those hours were spent online. If Nintendo truly doesn't have any plans for online in Pikmin 4, it would be a nail in the coffin for the replayability of the game. Once again, it's not just a Pikmin issue. Tears of the Kingdom doesn't have any online multiplayer either, and that was a huge missed opportunity on Nintendo's part. We now live in a world where people are most connected through the internet, and if Nintendo refuses to acknowledge that their games need online modes to stay relevant, they're gonna eventually pay the price. And the results will be ugly. So my thoughts? Pikmin 4 has become one of my most anticipated games of all time, and although my expectations are high, I'm confident this will be known as the greatest Pikmin game so far. In the past years, Nintendo's been revamping their franchises. Mario Galaxy 2 to Odyssey, Skyward Sword to Breath of the Wild, Kirby Star Allies to the Forgotten Land, Mario Kart 8 to Mario Kart 8, and Pikmin is just the next franchise in line to get that modern revamp. Whether you love it or hate it, that's the direction Nintendo's gonna take anyways. They're putting a modern spin on Pikmin and changing up the formula, while still keeping the core essence of what makes it Pikmin. You still grow your army, collect items, and explore the tiny but huge world that surrounds you. I think we often forget that this is most people's first Pikmin game. Nintendo knows Pikmin is a very promising and marketable franchise, but it's also very small, so they'll do whatever it takes to promote it to new audiences. Nintendo doesn't want to scare away new players by junking things up and throwing way too much info at once, but they still added and built upon many mechanics to give a fresh feeling to older audiences who want a new Pikmin experience. That being said, I think it is fitting that some mechanics in UI are more simplified than before. Although it may suck for us long-term Pikmin fans, I believe it's done for the greater good. Pikmin 4 may not be the best game ever, and it probably won't live up to my expectations, but that doesn't matter to me. Even before the game came out, it's affected my life so drastically. I remember how surreal it felt, watching that first trailer and trying to comprehend that after years of waiting, Pikmin 4 was actually real. So will Pikmin 4 be a disappointment? No. This will be the Pikmin game. It will sell the most units, have the most content, and will receive the most love in the franchise. I bet my life on it. I have no facts or evidence to back this claim up, no insider information, and I can't see into the future. This is nothing more than a strong gut feeling. Even if Pikmin 4 turns out to be a mediocre game at best, it will always have a special place in my heart. Not because we finally got a new Pikmin game, but because of the journey it took us to get here. Thanks for watching.